NHL Insider, you heard the intro. There he is, Eric Francis. Just landed in Nashville. So what's the plan tonight? How do you get your eyeballs on the Jays game in Nashville? Make us all jealous.
Yeah, I'm gonna go dressed as a World Series champion. I hope later tonight after the game. But no, it's funny. We got a crew that all want to go out. It's Halloween in Nashville, which I don't really even know what that means, but I have a feeling it's going to be a ton of fun. But I'm not really getting into the Halloween thing. I'm getting into the World Series thing. I just don't know where we're going to get in anywhere. Or is it easy to get in tonight? Is everybody at home handing out candy to their kids?
No,
I don't think so. This doesn't seem like the crowd that goes home and hands out candy to kids here in Nashville.
So if you go as a Blue Jay World Series champion, let's go back to 92, 93. Who would you go as? Would it be Tom Hankey? Go buy some big glasses. Would it be Kelly Gruber with a little blonde mullet in the back? Paul Molitor, who had a beard under his eyes. Who would you go as?
I have so many favorites from back in those days. Rance Mulnix, Roberto Alomar, Joe Carter. I in light of how things have unfolded for Roberto Alomar, I wouldn't go as him. I would go, Gruber was always one of my favorites, man. He was the best. And Tom Hankey, David Wells. Actually, the way I'm plumping up these days, probably go as David Wells. That might work. That worked out pretty well.
I still think you'd have to put on a few more pounds to go as David Wells. He pitched as a big boy.
I'm on a pretty long road trip here, so I'm working my way towards it. Don't worry.
Okay, here's a question. When you're on these long road trips, and I know it's a grind, and you don't get to pick them, right? Like, you wouldn't pick going to Nashville. You would rather go to that Winnipeg, wherever that swing goes, Minnesota. But when you're on the road for a long time, do you hit the gym? Do you bring the sneakers?
Those days of trying to fool myself are over. I'm in this challenge right now where I try to do 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 squats every day. And you can do that. You don't need sneakers to do that. And I'm pretty good at I've been pretty faithful at that. I text my buddies every day, and if you don't text, you feel shame. Anyway, I travel. When I go to Europe, wherever I travel in the world, I don't believe in checking a suitcase. I actually think it's asinine to consider even thinking about checking a suitcase. The odds of them getting lost or damaged or just having to wait that extra 20 minutes after, I can't stand it. So space is at a premium in my little carry-on bag, and that's my excuse for not bringing any of my workout gear, because I just don't have any room for it.
Aren't there some fancy hotels, though, that you can, rent sneakers? Yeah. I think probably the stuff that you're... I think they have workout gear that you can. I don't know about the undergarments, but I think you can rent some sneakers.
Look, stop it! I'm not going to work out no matter what you say.
Then have you done the 100 today yet?
No, I've been pushing that off too.
Okay, why don't we do the rest of this hit while you do squats? Yeah. Why don't we do the rest of this hit while you do your 100 squats?
Right now?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Tell us about the Flames road trip so far.
It's not been going that well. I don't know if you've been paying attention. They've lost 10 of their last 11 now, and it's not for a lack of effort. It's lack of skill. It seems like every game is a different thing. They take too many penalties. Their goaltending's not good enough. They were pretty good last night in Ottawa. Am I at 100 yet?
99.
100. There we go. Okay, boys. Thanks a lot.
Text your buddies. Text your buddies. You got them in.
Holy cow. Freaking hot. Yeah, things are not going well in Calgary right now. It depends how you look at it. Most people in Calgary look at it and say, this is perfect. This is the perfect way to go. Let's take this as an opportunity to go in the other direction, get a better draft pick. I mean, we've talked about this, and it's getting to be old news. But right now the big talk in Calgary is, that the fans are upset because Connor Zary was a healthy scratch the other day. Coronado was a healthy scratch the other day. These are the young guys that are kind of the core moving forward, and people want them in there making mistakes or whatever it is and learning the ropes on the run. But, the coaching staff and management are like, look, we can't just keep rewarding ice time and roster spots to guys who keep making the same mistakes. And I get that too. So anyway, therein lies the debate in Calgary right now. But everybody else just says, play the young guys and lose every game. It's a lovely theory, but A, that doesn't help young guys develop. B, it crushes the culture in a city. And C, no coach, GM of any sort's ever going to stand for pure tanking like that.
Okay, does the team go out tonight and then maybe play guilty tomorrow?
I'm pausing because, look, the game tomorrow is an afternoon game.
Yeah, even better.
And,
yeah,
I think. Well, yeah, and no morning skate, so you don't have to skate all guilty in the morning. Look, maybe I'm naive, but I'm pretty sure these guys, even though their season's gone off the rails, the World Series is on tonight. These guys are probably going to gather all together and watch it as a group, and it's an easy excuse to not go out and rip this city up. But ask me on next Wednesday how many of the guys I saw out on Broadway, and I may or may not tell you the truth.
Okay.
But you talk about the young guys with the Flames. They've got a good young group. They really do. They've got a good young group. Is it maybe the leadership from the old guys not getting down? Is it the other way around?
No, I think the leadership's like one of their strengths. I still do. I think it's the, and I don't know if this has anything to do with leadership, but like their lack of discipline is becoming more and more of a problem. Like they talk every game about taking fewer penalties, and yet they still take penalties, lazy penalties too, not just overly aggressive penalties, like dumb penalties in the offensive zone, being careless with their stick, whatever the case may be. So, no, the leadership I strongly believe is not the problem in Calgary. I think it's the base from which you build to try and get back into this thing. Look, there's no way you bounce back from this. You're 2 wins in your first 12 games, impossible to bounce back from. And actually, I got to check with our stat people to see if it's ever even happened. And I bet you it hasn't in NHL history. So season's over. It's what do you want to do from here? And that's where the debate is. Do you want to just play the hell out of the youngsters? There's an interesting decision of sorts that's coming up for the Flames. Zane Parek's played 9 games. Yeah. Zane Parek is not. Yeah. Zane Parek is not really everyday NHL material right now. He'll get there. He's going to be a star, but he's not there yet. And some people think that they didn't play him last night because they're debating whether or not to send him back to junior. He can't go to the AHL because of the CBA rules, which is a real failure on the NHL's part.
Doesn't that change next year?
Yeah.
It does change next year, but that doesn't help this kid this year. So, he's got nothing that he can. There's nothing to gain from going back to junior. I'd rather see him come here, play 3/4 of the games, learn by osmosis and by all of his mistakes, go to the World Juniors for Team Canada, and that's how your season's going to unfold here. And by the end of the season, he'll have learned a hell of a lot.
They are two wins in the first 12, but last week we played a clip where the Blue Jays lost the opener 12-2, and I said the season was over. So it's maybe a little early to call it, right? When the Blue Jays lost the home opener, little early, but I still agree with you. It's a heck of a mountain to get back on top to get themselves in any kind of a race.
Well, if it was, the Tampa Bay Lightning, I might say, yeah, I'm not worried. I think they could come back. Or if it was Florida. But it's the Calgary Flames who barely stuck into a playoff hunt last year, yet still fell short. They've changed none of their personnel. As a matter of fact, they lost the strength of a backup goaltender. And we're expecting more from them than last year. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I've covered this team for decades, and I know what it's like to chase all year long, and it becomes exhausting. Even if you did go on a 7-game heater, eventually you're going to get too worn out. Because think about it, guys, also, the other thing about the Calgary Flames is how do they win games? They win games with 2 things, goaltending and work ethic. And if you're built on 100% basically work ethic, there are going to be nights where you're just going to run out of steam and then you have no chance. So it's an uphill climb for these guys for sure.
The Winnipeg Jets are 8-3, tops of the Central, 16 points. If you were writing for the Winnipeg Free Press, like our friend Kenny Weeb does, or if you're part of that Winnipeg, are you sitting there at this point and going, "Oh no, here we go again"? All the promise in the world, expectations. We are going white shirts, deep playoff run. I just feel like the Jets, they're so close, but again, here we are with a really good hockey team. What do they do at the end of it all?
I don't know. I mean, look, I think that's a good team, obviously. I mean, that's not a hot take. Last year and the year before, Hellebuck has disappeared in the playoffs. That's been their biggest problem, is that he can't seem to figure it out when it matters most. He had a pretty good Four Nations tournament. I'll give you that for sure. But, playoffs is what matters most. And if he can't figure it out, I still feel like eventually he will figure it out in the playoffs. Like, I still believe very strongly they're a top 5 team in the National Hockey League. And I don't question that. Like, even if you just look at that top line, I would argue that's the best line in hockey. I really would. Like, we can have that discussion some other day where you go and rank your top lines in the NHL. Velarde with Scheifele and Connor, I'm putting right at the top. There's other teams that have great players, but they don't always, I can't. Draisaitl and McDavid aren't really aligned. Sometimes they play together all the time whenever they're short a goal, but they're not aligned. I kind of defy you to come up with a line that might be, as good, if not better than those three. And that'll carry you a long way on top of the best goalie in hockey and a pretty damn good D-core.
Interesting. Because I was trying to think of what else would be a top line. Maybe
Eichel, Darafoyev,
Marner, Vegas.
I don't even know who's on that line. I just know they got lots of points.
Marner's playing on the second. Yeah, Marner and Darafoyev are playing on the second line. Mark Stone's out right now, so they don't really have, that's part of it. What is exactly their top line with Mark Stone out? It's kind of all jumbled right now. Look, whoever McKinnon plays with, if it's McKinnon, Rantanen, and Lehkonen, I could hear that argument all day long. That's a pretty damn good line, too. That would be in my top 5 for sure. So, a lot of these top players don't stick with the same line all the time, and that's part of why I put them near the top or at the top, because they've been together now for 2 years, and they're going to be together for a lot of years moving forward.
It's definitely a very good watch when Winnipeg's playing. They create so many chances, and they're, like you said, their back end is so strong. Morrissey moves the puck well for them. Pionk, they're getting a lot of mileage out of guys that maybe other teams looked away at. And I think you're right. Winnipeg, top 3?
Yeah. I just want it to happen.
Top 5.
It would be something really special. It would be so special.
I'm going there in a couple of weeks to a game, to Silver Heights. I'm taking it in.
You getting some rips?
You go to Nashville, I go to Winnipeg. 6-7.
6-7.
6-7. You're hilarious. Someone threw at me the other day that, would Winnipeg winning the cup, would that unite the country? Or people are trying to equate the Blue Jays mass appeal to anything else, and there's just nothing that you can.
No.
Didn't we have this discussion, Barney? To the national Olympic team, but other than that, there's no hockey team outside of the Olympics that the whole country is going to agree upon ever. It's just never going to happen.
Okay, I want to ask you this, because it's Eric Francis, NHL Insider. It's brought to you by Sports Select. I just went on to sportselect.com, and I'm looking at the futures. So we can play the futures. If people don't know what the futures are, it's you're betting on. Right now, it's who's going to finish first in the Eastern Conference. Now, out of these teams that I'm kind of fascinated on a couple of them, because they're at the top. Detroit, Montreal, New Jersey. Is New Jersey the play there? What do you think out of Montreal and Detroit maybe being that team this year that sneaks in and goes on some weird run?
Oh, yeah. Remember, we talked about this the other day. It's who wins, who's standing at the end of the Eastern Conference Championship. It's not regular season. So you got to try to pick who can really continue to elevate their play in the playoffs. Look, we just saw Montreal and Calgary last week. I mean, that is going to be a force for a lot of years. Is this the year they start to become a force? I don't know. Let's see how the season progresses. But, man, I love the way they're built, and I love the way they're going.
What do you love? What do you love so much with your eyeballs when you're watching them with your eyeballs? What do you like so much about them? Obviously, high skill and all that, but there's more to hockey than that.
That Suzuki Caulfield battery is like Scheifele and Connor to me. They're just so incredible together. The clutch goals from Caulfield, that's kind of his hallmark already early in his career. Add to that Demidov and the incredible talent that he is. I just think Slavkovsky has kind of been a quietly building, not living up to first overall status, but been a real nice little piece of that. I mean, that's a pretty good top line that's going to be there for a while with Slavkovsky, Caulfield, and Suzuki. They've got some great depth. By all accounts, they're real leaders, or they're veterans. Guys like Jake Evans and Anderson. I just think that, and their blue line, I guess, is kind of one of the most exciting things. They got Guli Jakai is a straight role player, but man, I wouldn't want to face that guy on a nightly basis. He crushes guys.
Yeah.
And I just think that they've got all the skin. Hudson, there's a very real chance that Hudson's the third or fifth best defenseman in the league in a year or two, right? With that skill set. So I don't know. Everything about them, the one piece they're missing to me is the goaltender. I don't know if Dobish can be that guy. I certainly don't feel like Montembeault can be, but they're going to both be given lots of chance to do that. And oftentimes that's kind of one of the last pieces you need for that goalie to step forward. I mean, ask the Edmonton Oilers. They're a goalie short. And Montreal, I still think is a goalie short, but maybe they do have the guy. They're just so young, we don't know yet.
There's not a lot of goalies kicking around that you can go get that are going to fill that void either, right? Like, if it was easy to solve, Edmonton would have done it already. Yeah.
And then you got the guy's going to want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to be able to afford them. And goalies are it's so tough to, there's a reason why nowadays in the NHL draft, you don't see goalies going 5th overall, 7th overall, 10th overall, 1st overall, like Rick DiPietro. I remember being at that draft. He went ahead of Danny Heatley. That was a little bit of a slip up, Mike Milbury, which I reminded of him a lot when I used to do the hot stove on Hockey Day with Milbury. And that came up a lot in the green room. And a couple times on air, which you didn't appreciate. Anyway,
he seems like such a nice, calm guy.
Easy to get along with sort of guy. Yeah,
beat you with a shoe.
Yeah, absolutely. He's Mad Mike.
Okay,
the goalies. It's an issue in Montreal.
Nashville. We're all jealous. Over under 10 minutes after we're done this hit that you have a rum and coke in your hand.
You guys got me. Obviously, I did that big workout at the early when I started talking here. Now I'm kind of feeling like I should get that done and then earn my rum and coke, my first rum and coke.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long night, easy as she goes, especially if the Jays win. It's going to be a real long night.
Yeah. And
man, are we all going to have a blast. How fun is this? Obviously neither one of you guys were born when the Jays won last time. I'm kidding. But I remember I was in university at the time. It's funny, I was in Ottawa, and we were downtown in the Byward Market, which used to be the place to be. It's not that way anymore in Ottawa, unfortunately, but we used to go to a bar called the Yucatan Liquor Stand, and in the middle of the Byward Market was a pumpkin patch, a place where people would go on the weekends to buy their pumpkins. Well, when the Jays won, for some reason, somebody scaled over the fence and released all the pumpkins. And there were hundreds and hundreds of pumpkins getting smashed all over the Byward Market. That's how we celebrated. I hope it's a little more civil tonight in Nashville.
Just for the record, was already through my first divorce when the Jays won the World Series, so I got a few years on you, Eric. Yeah.
She ran off with Rance Mullins.
Yeah.
Little known story.
Yeah.
She loved how he choked up on the bat.
Thank God she's gone.
Be careful.
All right. Can you just if you could only make me just one. First off, tonight, if there's Canadians celebrating down there, tell some people that you're Tom Hankey's son. Just take him on a whirlwind. I remember talking to James Duthie on the Monday Nooner, and he was a Clemson soccer star, and that's what his bar thing was. And then if you can go to Robert's Western World and have that bologna sandwich for me, and to just shoot me a picture, just make me really jealous.
I'm in. And wash it down with a bunch of rums. That sounds like a great idea.
I don't know why we don't travel more. I don't know why we don't travel more or travel at all.
Yeah, now I'm hungry. Oh, great.
Have fun, man. Get those squats done.
I love it. Okay, yeah. I'm right back at it.
All right. See you later.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, no suitcase, Eric. Joining us, our NHL insider.